The difference between a $1 million jet and a $100 million flying palace is not just about the size of the engines or the softness of the leather. It is like comparing a bicycle to a teleporter. While one gets you there faster than a car, the other allows you to bend geography to your will. Most people see a private jet and assume it's the ultimate peak of luxury, but the truth is, the world of private aviation is divided into very distinct tiers. Today, we are going for a deep dive into those tiers. From the entry-level machines that cost less than a house in London to the massive titans of the sky used by heads of state and tech billionaires, stick around until the end to see the one feature in the $100 million tier that even seasoned pilots are calling a complete game-changer for global travel. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can a jet possibly cost only $1 million? Well, welcome to Tier 1, the entry level. In this bracket, you aren't buying a brand new aircraft off the factory floor in Savannah or Montreal. You are looking at the pre-owned market, specifically at legendary workhorses like the Cessna Citation CJ1 or a well-maintained Beechjet 400A. Let's look at a typical $1 million option like a 1990s-era Citation CJ1. The price sits right around $1.2 million on the used market today. For that, you get two Williams FJ44 engines producing about 1,900 pounds of thrust each. In terms of performance, you're looking at a maximum cruise speed of 437 miles per hour. To put that into perspective, that's about 100 miles per hour slower than a commercial airliner. But here's the thing, you aren't waiting 2 hours at Heathrow or JFK to board. The range on a jet like this is approximately 1,100 nautical miles. In practical terms, think Chicago to Miami, London to Rome, or Sydney to Adelaide. It is a regional hopper. You aren't crossing the Atlantic in this, but for a business owner needing to visit 3 cities in one day, it is a surgical tool. Step through the cabin door, and the first thing that hits you is the intimacy. This isn't one of those cramped cocktail shakers where your knees are hitting the instrument panel, but it is cozy. You have a cabin height of 4 feet 9 inches and a width of 4 feet 10 inches. You won't be standing up straight unless you're a toddler, but for 4 to 5 passengers, the club seating is remarkably comfortable. Expect to pay around $2,500 per flight hour to keep this machine in the air. It's the budget way to fly private, but it still beats commercial by a country mile because it gives you back the one thing money usually can't buy: your time. Before we move up to the $10 million tier, where things get significantly more interesting, I need to ask you for a quick favor. If you want to stay ahead of the curve in the world of luxury and aviation, please hit that like button and subscribe. We don't just show you the shiny exteriors. We explain the numbers that make these machines work. Now, let's talk about Tier 2, the $10 million sweet spot. This is where we move from regional convenience to serious capability. At this price point, you are often looking at a nearly new Embraer Phenom 300E or a pre-owned Gulfstream G450. Let's focus on the Phenom 300E, which is currently the best-selling light jet in the world for a reason. The price for a late model 300E sits right around $10 to $11 million. It is powered by 2 Pratt & Whitney PW535E1 engines, pushing it to a maximum speed of 534 miles per hour. That is commercial airline speed, but with the ability to fly at 45,000 feet, well above the weather and the crowded flight paths of the big carriers. The range here is a genuine leap forward. You're looking at 2,010 nautical miles. To put that into context, that means New York to Las Vegas, London to Cairo, or Singapore to Perth non-stop. It's no longer just a regional tool, it's a continental conqueror. The cabin experience in the $10 million tier is where you really start to feel the luxury label. The Phenom 300E features an oval light cabin profile, providing more shoulder room for its 6 to 9 passengers. With a cabin height of 4 feet 11 inches, it still isn't a stand-up cabin for most, but the fit and finish are on another level. We're talking about high-speed satellite Wi-Fi, a fully enclosed lavatory, and a galley that can actually serve a proper meal. Operating costs for a jet in this class hover around $3,500 to $4,000 per flight hour. For a mid-sized jet, that's impressive efficiency. It is the choice of the successful entrepreneur or the regional CEO. It says you've arrived, but you're still smart enough to care about the bottom line. But now, We need to leave the world of practicality behind and enter the stratosphere of the elite. Welcome to Tier 3, the $100 million flying palace. When you reach this level, you aren't buying transportation. You are buying the power to bend geography to your will. In this bracket, we are talking about the Boeing Business Jet, or BBJ, based on the Boeing 737 MAX, or a fully bespoke Bombardier Global 8000. Let's look at the BBJ 737-7. The green aircraft, meaning the empty shell from the factory, costs about $80 million. By the time you add a custom interior, you are looking at a final price tag north of $105 million. Performance-wise, it is staggering. With its CFM LEAP 1B engines, it can fly 6,600 nautical miles without stopping. In practical terms, that means Los Angeles to Geneva, New York to Tokyo, or London to Johannesburg non-stop. While everyone else is navigating layovers and terminals, you are sleeping in a full-sized king bed over the Pacific. The cabin dimensions are where the bicycle to teleporter analogy really makes sense. We are talking about a cabin length of 79 feet, a width of 10 feet 6 inches, and a height of 7 feet. You aren't just standing up, you are living in a 3-bedroom apartment that happens to travel at 530 miles per hour. A typical $100 million layout includes a master suite with a walk-in shower, yes, a real shower at 40,000 feet, a dining room that seats 8, a dedicated cinema room, and a separate staff cabin. The interior noise levels hover around 48 decibels. To put that in perspective, that's quieter than a suburban library. You can have a whispered conversation while crossing the Andes. The operating costs? Expect to spend around $12,000 for every single hour the engines are running. This is the apex of human travel. But here's the surprise insight that most people miss. Even at $100 million, these jets are often seen as business tools. Why? Because of the door-to-door calculation. Think about it this way. A commercial flight from New York to London takes about 7 hours in the air. But when you add the 2 hours of early arrival, the hour at immigration, and the hour of baggage claim, your travel day is 11 hours. In a private jet, your travel day is 7 hours and 15 minutes. You drive to the plane, the engines start when you sit down, and you are in a car on the other side 5 minutes after landing. For a person whose time is worth $50,000 an hour, the jet literally pays for itself in recovered life. So, which tier makes the most sense? There's no universal right answer, only the right answer for your specific situation. If you're a regional business owner, the $1 million hopper is a time machine. If you're a global executive, the $10 million mid-sized jet is the industry standard. But if you are a titan of industry looking to eliminate the concept of distance from your life, nothing compares to the $100 million heavy metal. And here it is, the game-changing feature I mentioned earlier. On the newest ultra-long-range jets like the Global 8000, they have introduced Puri 6 air filtration and Soleil circadian lighting systems. These systems don't just filter the air. They simulate the exact light spectrum of your destination's time zone and replace the entire cabin air volume every 90 seconds. This means you can fly from New York to Singapore and arrive with zero jet lag. That isn't just luxury, it's biological engineering. If you enjoyed this glimpse into the world of ultimate luxury, a like and a subscription would mean the world. And for those who dream of flying in style, click right here to watch our video on the top 10 fastest private jets in the world. See you in the skies.